Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bayt.com's Career Talk. I'm Hatem. Now, what makes a workplace great for you? You might have heard the saying that if you choose a job you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. But what makes a job quite the job that you love? Is it working in the field that you want to work in or being in the role that you're looking for? Let's take, for example, that you love art. You go to school, you go to university, you study graphic design, and you land a job as a graphic designer. Does that mean you're in the right place for you? There are other factors that you need to take into consideration besides just the job role, the pay, and the industry. Other factors come into play that really make you feel at home, that make you feel that you're in the right workplace, that helps you succeed, that helps you grow, boosts your productivity, puts you in the right frame of mind. And that's what I want to discuss. Drawing from a recent survey we did at Bayt.com, assessing the ideal workplaces in the Middle East and North Africa. So here are a few factors that you should be taking into consideration when assessing the workplace you're in and identifying whether it's right for you. Number one, a creative flair. Would you consider your workplace as possessing that creative flair? Are you in a place where you feel like you can express yourself creatively and freely and have your ideas heard? Or are you in a workplace where when you pitch an idea to upper management, it's immediately shut down and they'd rather stick to tried and true methods of doing things and not really exploring innovative ideas? Or could you be in a workplace where everyone around you is of very similar background and there's very little diversity and therefore you're not exposing yourself to different cultures and different ways of thinking, different approaches to work? And when I talk about creativity, it's not only in the traditional sense of arts and marketing and advertising and design. Creativity is applicable in all different fields. Sales, you can be creative. If you're a developer, you can be creative. It's all about finding new ways to do things. Problem solving is creative. If you're in an environment that doesn't allow you to explore different methods, explore your creativity and encourage creativity and your own growth, then you're only hindering your own career growth and you're not in a workplace that helps you achieve your own potential. Number two, a personal touch. Now, another element to consider in your workplace is the look and feel and layout of the office. Now, why is that important? You spend 8-9 hours a day, at least 5 days a week in the workplace. So in effect, a significant portion of your life is spent at work. And if you don't feel like your workplace feels like home to you, then you might have a problem where you're not reaching your full potential, where you're not comfortable. That comfort goes a long way in making you more attached to your workplace, more attached to your work, more invested in your work, and you're able to produce a lot better. Now, we've all seen these great, big, wide open workspaces that have bean bags, ping pong tables, maybe sometimes a slide in the middle of the office. But if you don't have that in your office, there are still some things you can do that will go a long way. Small touches, small personalizations you can do to your current cubicle, to your workplace, that makes it feel a bit more like home. Maybe you have kids or a sibling that have drawings that you'd like to put up, maybe some picture frames that you want to put up, memorabilia that you've collected from your travel. You support a sports team and you want to put something to represent that love that you have for your sports team. Small touches that reflect your personality, that make it feel a bit more like home. And if everyone around you is incorporating these personalization and these small touches, then the entire workplace becomes a lot more warm, a lot more friendly, a lot more like home, and you're able to step comfortably into your workplace and it produce at an optimum level. Now, on the other hand, if your workplace doesn't allow you that freedom to personalize your workspace, you might be hindering your own growth, you might be closing yourself in, you'll grow detached from your work and your workplace, and as a result, you'll be affecting your own career and productivity. Number three, a flexible lifestyle. Now, over the past 5 years or so, employees and job seekers are starting to value their work-life balance even more. And that's become very important in their workplace satisfaction, how happy they are at work, how happy they are at their job. And it's important for you to be able to afford that sort of flexibility. If you feel like you can produce great work outside of the office, or even better work sometimes, then what argument is there against it? Now, we've seen a shift with employers over the past years where they are affording employees that sort of flexibility. And of course, this comes down to management style. There's a lot of trust that comes into play in this, but if the right management style is in place and the right employees and candidates are in place, then that dynamic works very well. Employees are more satisfied, management is a lot more comfortable and a lot more assured, and people are able to work from wherever they feel is best. That allows them to produce at their best abilities, to their best capacity. And oftentimes working outside of the work environment might produce even better work. There's no real argument about it. And efficiency has become the clear objective here. So when using any means necessary, whatever it takes to become even more efficient, employers are willing to entertain that. So check with your workplace as well. Is it a workplace that allows you that flexibility to go out and work from wherever you feel best, as long as you're providing that work at that top quality? If it is, you're probably in the right place. Number four, communication. Are you in a workplace that does encourage open, free, and frequent communication? Do you feel like if there's something going slightly wrong and you have some feedback about it, do you feel comfortable expressing that negative feedback, that it wouldn't be taken personally, that people would hear you out? And at the same time, do you trust that management are communicating with you transparently and openly? Are they communicating with you, letting you know where you stand, where your productivity is? Are you meeting expectations, what you could do better? That transparency and that open communication is very important for your workplace satisfaction and for your productivity. And of course, your retention within the organization. You'll want to stay around longer if you feel like you're being taken care of and you can express your ideas freely. And it's not only about communication between you and management or you and your colleagues. It's also about the communication between the organization as a whole and its employees. Is the organization transparent and open about what it's doing, where it's standing in the market, what challenges it's facing, what it's doing well, what it's struggling with? When the company is being transparent with its employees, you as an employee in that organization feel a lot more comfortable. You know where the market is headed. Because for all you know, you could be performing really well, but because of the state of the organization, which isn't performing very well, you might find yourself out of a job, out of no fault of your own, just because the company needs to cut expenses and it's not performing too well. So that open communication helps you feel a lot more secure and produce to a much higher level and feel like you can be heard. Number 5, material matters. And I know what you're thinking here, your pay. Now, of course, your pay plays a role in how satisfied you are with the workplace. If you feel like you're being paid a little under market value, you might be a little demotivated. But that's not what I'm trying to address here. What I mean by material matters, I'm talking specifically about the technology, the hardware, the equipment that the workplace affords you during your job to make your life easier. Now, technology improves year to year to make our tasks easier. That allows us to do our tasks better, faster, and a lot easier with a lot less effort. Now, is your company making that easier for you or harder for you? Are you using computers that are outdated in terms of hardware and software and everything is a struggle? Or are you in a workplace that embraces technology, that does give you the technology that makes you perform at your best capacity and not really take into consideration the little challenges that you might face with a computer that isn't working at times or software that's crashing a lot of the times? If you're in a workplace that does embrace technology, that makes your life so much easier, you are in the right place. Otherwise, you might not be in the right workplace that helps you grow and produce to your best capacity and gives your best to the company at the end of the day. So taking it from the top, you might be in the job you've always dreamed of. You might be doing the type of work you've always aspired to do. But if you're not in the right workplace, then you're harming your own career growth. You're not in the place where you're producing to the capacity you'd like, and you might even end up hating the job that you're doing because of the workplace. So do look out for these 5 points that we discussed on this week's episode to assess whether you are in the right workplace that helps you flourish and grow. And that's all I have for you on this week's episode of Bayt.com's Career Talk. I hope you found that valuable. And as always, make sure to follow us here. New episodes every week. And I'll see you next time.